I bet. So, hi everyone. It's Val, but we're with Michelle Marie of Astrological Tarot for Messages for Lightworkers. And I just want to thank you, Michelle, for coming on and being with us today. We're excited to have you here. And Marina, this is being streamed to Marina's channel, Heart Centered Tarot. Like and subscribe, everyone. Marina's having technical difficulties getting on StreamYard, and it's just, it's this energy.
Yes, the eclipses. They affected her 11th house of community. They affected mine too, but I've got Saturn helping me out a little bit. And she's in full Venus. So she's just like, bam. And Venus was retrograde in the eclipse with Mercury retrograde.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because she can't get on and connect.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just a really strange thing that happened. So hopefully that'll get all straightened out by tomorrow. But everyone, she's watching in the chat, Marina is. So that's what is going on. And if you see me in there in the chat, you might see Marina and you might see me. I'll always tell you it's Val, and then because you'll see Marina's picture. But yeah, thank you all for joining Michelle and I.
Yeah.
And yeah, so here we are. Book, nice to join. Thank you for joining us, Tiffany, Anita K, Bunny, Karen. Nice of you to join us. And here we are. I'm a little bit discombobulated, having Michelle and I have just got done with readings.
Yeah,
I'm a little tied up in the air for mine. So yeah, this is going to be, and like and subscribe to Astrological Tarot.
Thank you.
If you want a fabulous astrological reading and just unbelievable information that is going to help you propel yourself forward in the best way possible, go ahead and go to, is it astrologicaltarot.com?
It is, yes.
Astrologicaltarot.com to book your reading, book your session with Michelle Marie, because you will not be sorry about that. I've had one and it's fabulous. So everyone, also go to Marina's heartcenteredtarot.com and book a session with Marina, because she gives fabulous readings too. And absolutely, her classes are phenomenal as well. And Michelle, do you offer classes?
I will be in the fall. Yes.
Okay, in the fall.
I'm also going to put Marina's store up too. So that's
okay.
As well.
There. Oh, and that you can go get Shine Your Light t-shirts and other great things from Marina's spread shop. So absolutely go there and buy that merch, because you could spread the light.
Yay.
So yay. So everyone, hi Rose Blue. Dad goes home next Tuesday. Good to hear that, Rose Blue. And today, what did I get? Surrender as the theme. Surrender as the theme today. And it makes perfect sense with what is going on with this energy. And it's funny, I got pause whatever you're doing, pause what's going on, and just look at all the possible outcomes and things coming forward before you do anything. And most absolutely assuredly, surrendering to what is. Control's an illusion. It's exhausting. So, don't try to let go of that and just allow whatever flows to come and enjoy it as you can. And it's funny, I got bravery after that. So sometimes it does take a little act of bravery to allow energy to flow as it does, and to not worry about worst outcomes or what this will do, what effect it'll have, and go to all those fear places. Instead, know that source, whatever's flowing to you, is for your highest good. And connecting after that to everyone and everything. So stay connected with your higher self, with people around you. And really that brings in beautiful integration energy. So every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of light. Now, you can't make that up, that I got that card with this surrender energy of things that seem like chaos going on. And it is about transformation. And this is going to allow us to shake some of the dust off and see things in a little different way. Maybe even our old stories, let go of some of those things and see ourselves in a fresh new way, bringing ourselves to that place of empowerment where we are able to step into the foundation of who we are, who we really are, our authentic selves. And that really transitions us to higher love, to our own and to everyone else. So it is that beautiful energy. And Michelle, do you want to talk about your surrender card?
Of course. Yeah. So this is from the Whispers of Ganesha. And this is a card all about rest. It's all about recovery after the challenges and various lessons that have been recently coming our way, especially post-eclipse. It revealed a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out. Like I said, it affects the 4th and 10th houses of the United States, and we're already seeing those things take root. So Spirit is offering you a chance to retreat into a calm environment, replenish your energy, regain your composure. And you can see that here Ganesha's hands there at rest. So he's normally doing mudras. These are very sacred hand gestures. He doesn't have a crown or a tilak on. He's sleeping. Okay, so I know that in a deep state of sleep, a lot of our manifestations to take root. So it's important that we create this time for ourselves. And this will set you up to start anew when you get that good night's sleep. Like, this is really interesting that you brought this up, Val, because since moving here, Jonathan and I get up at Brahma Muhurta, which is 4 to 6 to do our mantras and our meditations. And last night, Spirit told me to sleep in, and I'm like, "Are you sure?" And of course, I got the same cards over and over again because I'm a Martian. I'm very disciplined. I'm gonna get up, and Jonathan's like, "Thank God," because he wanted to sleep in.
Oh, man.
It's important that we heal our body. We reset our mind back to positivity. So I'm much more rested today. I'm much calmer, and I was able to do a big, like, almost 3-hour session today and maintain clarity. So it's something I needed too. So regardless of what you're facing, Spirit is reminding you to surrender to the challenges for a while and just take some time for you, and know that, when the things are ready to be picked back up, they'll be ready. And just give yourself that break and have a clearer head. And then, of course, courage. And you were talking about how it's important that we are, stepping into those, the courage after we take those rests, so that we can give comfort to those who cross our path as we go through these transformations, as Val said, because we are going through a period of transformation. It's a big one. This was a big
one.
It was a stellium. Yeah, I've been warning people about it for a while, the Ides of March leading into the 29th. And I know that when these things happen, are going to, because it's directly on my husband's moon and nodal return. That's how I'm able to kind of place these things, because I live with someone who undergoes these challenges. And so this is all about letting your guard down, stop wearing a mask, begin to have respect for yourself as others, avoid harsh judgments during this time, because we're all undergoing transformation.
Are folks.
Yes. And yeah, that way all those beautiful innate gifts will be able to shine through. So, I mean, I know that core, I believe that's the French word for heart. Mm-hmm. And so courage comes from the heart. And so when we tap into that inner strength, we're guided by love, and we're seeking truth, we're seeking justice through all of those things and those transformations. So, and I love that Ganesha here, he's on a powerful lion, and that's inherited from his mother, Parvati. And so the lion represents the fierce nature of Ganesha, and also his ability to transcend the lower desires. He's usually on a rat, but he's bothering his mother's Vahana here. That's her vehicle. Mm-hmm. So the guides are calling you to trust the fearless part of your being, and be in your own inner lion. Bring that inner lion out and invite them to work with you to be valiant and harness that great courage moving forward. And when you're candid and you see things in their true light, that'll allow you to clear the energy moving forward so that you can make the best decisions for you, yourself, and your family moving forward. Because again, Val brought up transformation is coming. We have to prepare for it and then just in due course, deal with it as it comes. But it's really important to surrender first.
Absolutely.
So,
So you
yeah.
can really soak everything up and not be in resistance to anything.
Yeah.
Because really, the old saying, what you resist persists. And what you want to do in this time of transition and expansion is to just let go of those things that you didn't know you were holding on to. You might find now things flitting through your mind that were like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, and you thought, what am I having these thoughts? Just flitting little pieces of things, scenes from 10 or 20 years ago, flitting through your mind. Kernels of things you haven't, they bothered you in some way.
Mhm.
And you just, it's okay. You don't need to go into the details, but it's transitioning out of you. It came up and it's going to go. So I find a lot of people having that. What about you, Michelle?
Well, the eclipses are occurring in Pisces and Virgo. Virgo represents our practicality, and Pisces our dream world, our dreamscape.
Yeah.
So, and Virgo is also daily routine. So when you connect those two nodes together, it's all about going through those past experiences, whether they were 10, 20, 30 years ago, revamping them in our dream world, and then dealing with them in a subconscious way where we can, again, like you said, release them. Pisces rules the dream world. That's where we had the stellium eclipse. That's where your beautiful moon is.
Mm-hmm.
So what we can expect in that arena is not only the major transformation that you brought about, but also direction from spirit on what to let go of and then what to embrace moving forward. And I think it takes true surrender in order to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And I love that you brought up dreams, because that is really a great place where we're delving into those things that we need to express in a bigger way and understand in a bigger way. And they come out then later in our consciousness like that, like those experiences that you realize you have to transcend, just let them go. And I find they're not coming up like full blown, full body into the drama of it. It's just a scene, and it pops you into that experience for a second, and it flit to another scene, flit to another scene. So that's a pretty interesting way that now we've kind of gone further in our energy here on Earth and moving through, cycling through things a little differently than we were. It's faster, and it's just different than we ever did it before. That's what I'm experiencing. But in terms of the energy, Michelle, that's going on right now, like astrologically, and I know that we're having Venus in retrograde and Mercury in retrograde and all this, the eclipses and all of this. What can we expect? I mean, what's happening to us as we're going through this time? Because a lot is, we can't even put a name on it. So I know you can enlighten us.
Yeah. Well, Mars just entered Cancer yesterday. So Mars re-entered sidereal Cancer. And what that is he's debilitated there. And he's our fiery warrior. And that's why we're being asked to surrender. Take a break, take a breath, and just kind of let this flow. When he went direct in Gemini, like I said, that was in the 7th house of the United States. And it showed us where the new administration was with our allies. And boy, was that eye-opening. And so now this is a time to just kind of surrender and pay attention and just let those subconscious fears roll over so that we can, like you said, step into courage. But right now, that planet that challenges us to take decisive action is taking a back seat for a while. And he's asking us to go in, to be more introspective about what we need to do to move forward with, courage and bravery, and when it comes to our home, our family, our security, because that's what Cancer represents. And like I said, this stellium eclipse happened in the 4th house of the United States, aspecting the 10th house of career. So those are the areas we can expect to get affected. The last time this happened, like I said, was kind of the 2008 eclipse energy. So when can we expect the markets, because they're already starting to go, is when Venus goes direct. And Venus is actually going to go direct on, I believe, oh God, he goes conjunct Saturn on April 7th. That's an exact conjunction. And that's a very close conjunction. That's going to bring about kind of a block here for Venus moving forward. And then when he moves direct in Pisces, I believe that's on the 13th, that's when he's going to really shine a light on reallocating wealth, reallocating finances. This is the 2008 energy I've been highlighting from the March eclipses starting to take effect, because Venus told us to go in along with Mercury, which is our intellect. Venus rules our finance and luxury, the wife in a man's chart.
Right.
And divine feminine as well. It would be the wife in a same-sex couple chart. But what it represents is that these things are going to start manifesting moving forward. So we can see the housing market, pensions, employment. Those things are going to start to take a bit of a hit by April 13th. Okay, so
because we're going to have our bathroom remodel's going to start, and I want it to actually look good.
Well, you did get hit with eclipse energy in your 4th house of real estate. So just be prepared for some things to come up there. Okay. So just be aware of that. But when Venus moves direct here, he's then going to move into Aries and then Taurus and then some other areas. And that's really going to make us really rethink our assets, what makes us feel secure, where we'd like to go, especially with Mars and Cancer, and what's coming out from these eclipses. Now, I gave a presentation on Saturn in the houses to my members, and I'm going to be doing that, releasing that video for the public soon. And I go into Saturn in the 12th house energies and what the current administration, a lot of the men there have in common, which includes Donald Trump, Elon Musk, etc., is Saturn in the 12th house. And Saturn in the 12th house points out individuals who neglected to serve the collective, disabled, needy, the least among us in past lives. And so with Saturn in that 12th house, what Saturn is doing in this birth is he is creating enormous karmic debt for Saturn in the 12th house individuals, unless they get it under control. If they don't get it under control and use this powerfully, they will be forced back to pay back every single penny, every single person, and every single thing that they've cheated in this birth.
Wow.
So a lot of reincarnating. A lot of people have paid back. So you don't have to worry about them getting their karmic return, their bank balance at the end of this birth. It will come. It will happen. So unfortunately, we're kind of in the back getting hit with some of this energy. But the beauty of that is when you suffer loss, when you suffer things to these Saturn and 12th placement men and women, it helps you elevate to those higher realms of existence, because you're getting rid of some of the material in favor of spiritual. You can't really, in Vedic philosophy, the super material realms are actually the nether realms. They're the hells, but they are very similar to the book of Revelation. They're gem cities. They're castles. They're ruled by the Nagas. The Nagas are the keepers and holders of wealth. They're the divine dragons, like a dragon hoarding its wealth. They're more of a reptilian energy. And so the energy of the netherworlds is beautiful. I mean, it's like the material on acid. It's just, whoa, it's everything you could ever want times a million. And then the more you move up the channel to the divine heavenly realms, like Svarga, etc., Indraloka, etc., they're actually less material and they're more spiritual and connected to that divine energy. So in letting go of these material attachments and letting go of these connections that we have on the earthly plane, we're actually rising up as beings, even though it feels like it's the opposite, because we live in Kali Yuga, which is all about materialism. So,
well, now that we're going into a new cycle, I mean, that whole thing. So what can you tell us about like the old Yuga cycle versus what we're going into?
Okay.
I don't know.
There are 4 Yuga cycles. We're in Kali Yuga right now. That's the dark material age. And then the height of Yuga is called the golden age. Okay, and that's Satyug, and that's when like you're just walking around and gods are going, okay, you're enlightened, and it's just like you can sit in meditation all day, and it's just like thank you. I mean, it feels like heaven on earth, right? And then we get into oh goodness, sorry, I give a 3-hour reading. Give me a second, sweetie. It's Satyug, and then there's Dwapar, and then there's you know which one I'm forgetting? No, Kali. It's the third one. Is it skipping you too? Okay, so we go down the ladder. The one that I'm thinking of is the one in the Mahabharata, and that was the end of the Kshatriya age. And so that was when the divine warriors had to take a step back and let some of the demons win. Kali Yuga is a demonic playground. Okay, it's materialism. Yeah. And so when souls sign up for this time, which is Kali Yuga, compared to like Satyug, when the Devas have the heavy hand, this is the time where the demons have the heavy hand. Donald Trump is an eclipsed soul, meaning he is being ridden. People that are born during strong eclipses, like Ted Bundy, like Donald Trump, etc., they are being fully empowered by that energy, and it gives them a ton of power materially. But then,
because he's doing a lot right now.
But then the bill comes due. The bill comes due at the end of the birth. And that's how it works. And there are actually some souls that sign up for this. Like if you look at, like, for instance, Jeff Bezos's chart, he was clearly a sage in a past life because he's got a ton of good karma, and his material wealth is such that he's basically burning it in one birth. He has what's called a Shrikantha yoga in his chart. It's very rare. And that's when the soul makes a contract with Lord Shiva, he's the great destroyer, to burn up all of the good actions they've taken through all of their lives to make the material wealth in one birth. So when he comes back, he starts completely over. So we're talking like Africa, maybe mom dies and he's a baby out on his own. I'm not kidding. Like, he is starting from nothing in his next birth. But as a sage, he's going, that's great. That's fantastic. I'll be able to get closer because I'll be suffering so much. I'll be able to ascend spiritually. Yeah. So if you look at it from the Vedic perspective, it's like, oh, okay, so these things get taken away. It really helps our spirit ascend.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
For some reason, I like to look at it this way. I know it's a Buddhist concept about suffering, and also, I don't know, it just isn't something that I look at in that same way, because I look at it this way. If you are enlightened, there is no suffering, because everything has a purpose and a beauty that it brings for you, just exactly as you were saying it. So I don't see life as suffering. Life isn't suffering if you don't see it as suffering. So I know I'm strange, but I hear that, and it never settles well within me. Like, what are they talking about? It's not suffering. But I'm sure before you look at it in that way, that everything's a gift and everything's wonderful, you're going to think it's suffering.
Yes. So you asked about the yugas. It's Satyuga, that's known as Kritya Yuga. Tretya Yuga, that's one I couldn't remember. Dwapara Yuga, and then Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the one we're in now. That's the age of darkness and decline. It's Dharma.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't it end soon?
We're 5,000 years into it, and it's over 400,000 years long, according to
I thought it was ending. I hear it all over the place that it's ending, and it's not.
Well, there are some people that are in the community. I think they were on Heather's channel and a few others that said that the end of the world was going to be March 21st. And I'm like, okay, well, you'll find out if they're right or not. So I did hear about that. So we're still here. But Kali Yuga's Dharma is its lowest point. That's doing the right thing. So it's widespread falsehood, greed, conflict, ignorance, spiritual values are diminished, materialism prevails. Lifespans are shorter, suffering is prevalent. But if you sign up to be in Kali Yuga as a soul, I liken it to, have you ever taken a basketball and put it into a pool and like stuck it in the deep end of the pool? What happens when you let go of it?
Yeah.
It shoots way up above the water, right? That is what being a soul in Kali Yuga is like. It's like having the world on your shoulders. And then once you leave the body, because you've finished your lessons here, your spirit just blows up. I mean, it's like, it's so much work. It's so difficult to live in this age that, and to have any type of spirit, like saying a mantra, remembering a mantra at death will help you merge direct with the divine. You trust all the heavenly realms and go, Krishna, consciousness, boom, or Jesus, consciousness, boom. Whoever your Ishtadevata is. If you think about your Ishtadevata at birth, you become the Ishtadevata. That's how easy it is for you to move up the ladder in Kali Yuga. In Satya Yuga, you've got to meditate for millions of years. Here, it's like you think of the divine name, you learn a mantra, you're good. So this is a great time to really amplify your.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I just want to say hi to Tarot Stash for being in the chat. And yes, Gerald, Marina is still having trouble getting into StreamYard. And so here, Michelle and I are carrying messages for Lightworkers without Marina, but this is streaming to Heart-Centered Tarot, her channel. And yeah, here she is saying, yes, Gerald, can't access it at all, waiting to hear from StreamYard and Google. Yeah, so everyone, Marina, get it fixed quick. But anyway, thank you, Marina, for answering that. And so what is the next cycle called when we're out of Kali Yuga? What is that cycle about? That's
okay. So basically, Kali Yuga is the grand reset, and that's about 400,000 years from now.
It starts over, or
yes. And the beautiful thing about this is when our souls transcend to the heavenly realms, and I got this from Sivananda's book on what happens to the soul after death. Yeah. 1 day in heaven is 1 year on earth. So you could spend, if you spend 10,000 years in heaven, that you can go through almost an entire cycle. It just depends on how long it lasts. So, and a lot of older souls and even newer souls will spend a lot of time in the higher realms so that they can develop there before taking on another human birth and exhausting all of their good karma, their good works. But the next one is called Satya Yuga, and it is the golden age. It brings back the age of truth, purity, righteousness. It's Dharma at its peak. It's a grand reset. People are truthful, they're virtuous, they're spiritually advanced. Lifespans are long, there's harmony and peace, and it's the most spiritually evolved age. So it's the grand reset, because Kali Yuga, the reason we don't have a lot of ages to compare Kali Yuga to is because everything was destroyed. So, but we can look at Tretya Yuga, we can look at the Dvapara Yuga, those are the 2 previous ages after Sat Yuga, and compare it to that. And it's just basically the gradual decline of Dharma until it's gone. And I remember that Swami Sivananda, Yogananda, etc., they said at the height of Kali Yuga, there will be grand sages, there will be spiritual light workers. They will be here to balance out what's called Mritya Loka. That's the place where all things.
And now you're giving me the chills, because here we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is absolutely true. But we have 500 more years.
Well, 400,000.
400,000.
Over 400,000 more years. We just started Kali Yuga.
We just started it.
Yeah, so 5,000 years ago. Yeah, this was what we learned in the Sivananda teachings. Wow. But yeah, so we have a long way to go. But again, we're here for the dawning of the Kali Yuga. You know, Jesus came at this time. Wow. You know, a lot of avatars is what we call them, which are God in human form, came during this time. Lord Buddha, we had Jesus. We have a lot of beautiful avatars coming down and showing us how to be and how to do things, because this is the decline of Dharma. Yeah. So this is when the kings start to go a little crazy. So it's important that we protect ourselves and our families and our Dharma moving forward, because whatever little good that you do during this time is greatly rewarded. So I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing, because if you're able to withstand it's kind of like, what is the name of that movie where the guy goes to Mars and he's able to like jump over monsters and like do all of this amazing Superman stuff? It's like once you get out of this yuga and you go to the other realms, it's like you're just glowing. It's just like, whoa, where'd you come from? It's like, oh, I was under immense gravity for 70.
Yeah, for sure. That is what it isn't. That's a good analogy for how it really is here on Earth. This
Yeah,
pressure and this all this heavy, dense energy.
yes.
Yeah, and getting out of this body, we're totally, light beings. And no matter where we go from this, it's probably not going to be denser than Earth.
Well, yeah, even the netherworlds, I mean, they're denser materially, but every need is provided there. So this place is a place of suffering. It's a place of death, but we're supposed to let go of the material things, including these very bodies. I mean, I remember the parable of Jesus. He said, the rich man came to him and he said, I want to go to heaven. I want to become realized. I want to be spiritual. And Jesus said to him, okay, leave everything you have, your house, your family, everything. Make sure that they're well appointed and taken care of. Okay, set up a trust for them, basically, back in the day. And then follow me. Give up everything and follow me, and I'll show you how to do it, because he was a divine yogi. I mean, he was trained by John the Baptist, who's a reincarnation of Elijah, to become a yogi. That's what the 40 days and nights in the desert was all about. What they do for divine yogis and rishis in India is they bury you in the dirt for 40 nights, and then they dig you up, and you're good to go.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah, you can suspend the breath. You can suspend everything. And for 40 days and nights, you can do that. Jesus was able to do that because he was a divine yogi. That was what that, like, people are like, why is it 40 days and nights? And I'm like, that's a yogi. That's what he was able to do.
Good to know.
He was initiating all the disciples as yogis, just like, Yogananda met Yukteswar, etc.
Yeah.
So he said to the man, okay, I can do it. You've got enough rajas. He could look at his spirit and say, you've got enough rajas to go into Sattva land, but you're going to have to give up all the material. And he goes, I can't do it. I can't give up the material. This is my family. These are my castles. I can't do that. And then Jesus turned to his disciples, his fellow yogis, and said, a rich man has as much promise as entering the kingdom of heaven is a camel through the eye of a needle. What did he mean by that? Well, when we leave these bodies, it comes out one of the subtle nadis. Sometimes it comes out of other portals, depending on where you're at as far as your development. But when the soul leaves the body, it becomes ether, and ether can enter through the eye of a needle. A rich man, he's got everything on the back of a camel. He's got everything in his castles, and he's attached to all the stuff. So unless he takes the shackles of materialism off, he cannot enter into those kingdoms because he's attached to the stuff.
Absolutely.
So,
and that, I mean, it's interesting. That's what Imelda's saying. That's so interesting. Yeah, Imelda. And it's true that if you are so attached to the material and your relationships, that really, if you have those attachments to the point where it's going to stop you from doing the things that you need to do spiritually, that's an attachment. It's something from the 3D world. You can't take it with you in that way. So, that makes sense.
In the Vedas, they call them golden chains and iron chains. The iron chains would be like, I have to have the best house, or I have to be better than Becky, or it's like lower desires, things like that. Or I like to do things that are bad for myself and others. Those would be like iron shackles, iron chains. But the golden chains is like a beautiful golden chain around your neck would be your beautiful daughter. A golden bracelet around your wrist could be your son. A golden ring around your finger could be your husband. Those are other attachments. And when you go through Vedantic development as a soul, there are some people here that need to develop those family relationships. There are some that need to develop material relationships. There are some that need to develop spiritual relationships. And we go through what's called Gandantas in between all the signs as we transcend or graduate beyond these levels. So a young soul is figuring out how this material world works and doing what's called Artha Yoga. They're developing the more engineering part of the mind. How do I make this? How do I build this castle? How do I figure out this new invention? They're working with the material things, in order to create more wealth for others if they're doing it well. If they're not,
Right.
they're hoarding it. That's Kali Yuga. And then once they figure out the material world, then they enter the world of relationships. That's motherhood, fatherhood, you know, being, you know, married and part of communities and things like that. And then when they move out of the community mindset, they go into the spiritual path. And then beyond the spiritual path are those other levels. But you have to start with the crude material, and then you work your way birth after birth after birth after birth after birth until you reach those more spiritual ways of being and thinking. And like the Buddha said, we have so many births here that it's like ascension, the time it takes for a soul to ascend to the highest realm, which is that Svarga, that's the Atman within, merging with Source, is like a bird carrying a silk scarf in its beak, running it across the Himalayas until they wear down.
Wow.
That's how the Buddhists describe it. So we take on birth after birth after birth until we're able to reach enlightenment. And it starts with the material, it goes into those relationships, and then it goes into more spiritual ways of being and thinking. And sometimes we fall and we have to get back up and start over in a few areas and find out where those strengths and weaknesses are. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot. When you look at it in that way, it almost sounds a little daunting.
Well, but we're in Kali Yuga, so it can happen faster.
That's a good
It
thing.
feels daunting now because if you were in Samadhi, you just be, everyone would be like Val. We'd just be happy and giggly and laugh. She's a Safa. She's the same nakshatra as Bernie Sanders. So like they're down here, they're like freedom warriors. They're thinking positively. They're here to help everybody. And not all of us have that beautiful.
That's true. I know. Yeah, you're right.
Everyone was Val.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. I have to stop looking at through my filter, which is the way that I am. There are, other people can look at life and they're just born that way, coming in to see life in a different way.
Yeah.
And so they don't have that same view, which, that's their journey that they created. So, yeah.
And you have that view because at the end of this birth, your deity is Pushan. Pushan is the one who guides the dead. So you help souls transition after death. That's going to be kind of your job as a Ravati after you leave this birth, because you've ascended to the bloom, which is in the bloom, meaning you're going to start taking on jobs at higher realms and helping people cross over and things like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting too. Oh my goodness. It just gave me a whole window into a whole bunch of different things. So as far as your practice every day, when you get up, you say you get up with your hubby and you do your mudras, and what do you do? What are the steps of practice that you do to keep yourself balanced and in alignment and, feeling good?
Okay. Well, we wake up at 4-ish. That tends to be, it depends on like how many times I hit snooze, but we have our alarm go off, and then my husband lights the candles on the altar while I get the stuff ready. Like I get ice water for the deities because we see them as visiting us and spending time with us. And so I get everything ready for the altar in the kitchen. We, use the restroom, wash our face, try to get looking presentable. And then I get the incense ready. I put the planetary deities out for the day. And I had a class on mantras for the day, called Dina Lords, and that's the energy of the day. So we're honoring that energy. And so then we do the mantras for the day, and that starts with the Graha, which is the body devata. So today it would be Jupiter or Brihaspati. I'm wearing yellow for Brihaspati and amber and things like that to honor his energy. So we do his mantras, and then we move into the Adi Devata that helps us with our mind. And that is Indra for the day. That's king of the gods. And then we go into the Pratyadi Devata.
So you're doing mantras, not mudras, and mudras are the hands.
Well, yeah, when we're doing multi-various.
So the sound of the mantras are so powerful, the vibration of everything. Oh my goodness. And you have such a beautiful voice that that must be such a beautiful resonance. That would certainly set your frequency and the vibration of the day as you're bringing in what you are for each day. That's powerful.
So we do, like I said, one for the body, one for the mind, one for the spirit. And then after that, we do what's called Brestrika and Pranayama, which is various forms of yogic breathing. And what that does is it gets us ready for meditation. And then I'll read something from like concentration and meditation or sadhana or something from the Gita. And then we'll focus, because if my mind is still too scattered at that point, I can at least focus on what I just read. And then I'll look at my Ishta Devotee or my guru, and I will sit for a minimum of 20 minutes of meditation. So that's how we start our morning. And then we do the same kind of practice before going to bed, but we focus on Kali because she's a darker entity that can help us kind of break through the subconscious and material things that happen throughout the day. So that's a practice that we do. And then after I do that, I do what's called my yoga asanas. And those are the sunrise exercises and various other yogic poses to wake my body up, get all the kinks out. The retrogrades, I do a lot of twisted positions, inversions, things like that as well. And then I go on my show. And then I start the day. So that's
a lot just to start your day. I mean, it sounds like you spend a good amount of time dedicated to bringing the energy of that day in, getting yourself ready for that, in that beautiful energy.
When we raise our energy, we raise the energy of everyone around us. And so when I tell people, look, I'm praying for you. Look, I'm meditating on this. I do it every single morning. So I'm putting that energy out there for the collective and for people that are struggling with illness or loss or anxiety or depression or whatever, fill in the blank. When we raise our energy and we put it out for the collective, and I know you know this, Val, this just spills off of you, we're helping them. And so it takes the anxiety piece out for me, because when I see someone suffering, especially as an empath, I know you get this, I get really anxious too, because I don't like seeing that.
Well, I mean, it's true. So I think that's just such a beautiful practice that you're doing, and that you do it with your husband is a beautiful, beautiful partnership. Really. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, say hi, Jonathan.
Hi. You guys have it together there, because two people doing it is even more powerful. So I just love that. And you guys are holding a space there that is very powerful indeed in that area. So that's really beautiful. And energetically so powerful.
I'm curious, what do you do, Val, for your spiritual practice?
What do I do? I'm a lazy one. I get up and I have my chai tea. I have my chai tea, and during the time I'm having my chai tea, I'm contemplating the universe, but then I go into my meditation and I do a breathing practice, which is, I think, absolutely paramount to getting into the higher frequencies. And then go into, I say a prayer of intention, and I do my mantra, and I go in to bring in all these energetic frequencies of divine source, whatever colors and energy you want to bring in. But I say it out loud. And I say it out loud if I'm bringing the energy as a channel down through my crown and out through my root chakra or feet into Mother Earth. I say that out loud, and I envision that energy going all the way around the world in the middle of Earth. And then Earth actually in the elemental kingdom. Then I connect, and then I bring that energy, that green energy, up through my crown.
Okay. I was going to ask
of emerald green energy. So I'm simultaneously bringing the golden white light down through my crown, anchoring it in, and I'm bringing Mother Earth energy. Then I go out from my heart. I send it around the world as this beautiful light around the world, both energies. And I say, as above, so below, as within, so without. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. 0 point awakening. and I see this flash all the way around to everyone on earth, and I say, "It is done." So that was my practice. So, so then I go up to my crown chakra and just above, and I talk to all my guides and angels. I talk to divine source. I speak to, we have a two-way conversation. It's funny that we still call it channeling, but really it's like telepathy, because you are having a conversation, a two-way conversation. And it's pretty fun. I've been doing that for years. And yeah, that really gives me my foundation for the day going forward, because I'm getting such great information. For I say it out loud. All all that is divine source. What do I need to know today, or do you have a message for me? And I always have a pen in my hand, and I always write it down, because the minute you're in this energy, you don't remember anything. At least I don't. It's all like,
it's amazing.
Yeah. So I have pages and pages of channeled information. But yeah. So how is your meditation practice? How does it work for you?
Well, like I said, I do all of the sadhana to prepare for meditation. And I had a huge leap and bound. This was on September 22nd of last year. And I entered full Samadhi, and I was out for 3 days. Like, I was like, Jonathan struggled to bring me back down to earth. I was not here. I was just in happy land. Like, it was the most incredible, beautiful thing. And what happened was, I normally sit in my heart space, and then when we talk to the guides, there's a mirror. It's like a mirror. It's like we're having these conversations. It's a two-way thing. I became one with the presence inside of my heart, and I sat in that, and there was no me. There was no me.
That is exactly what I'm telling people that my Get Channeling on is happening for everyone. And they're actually calling that the anointing, or it's like the second coming. You are the second coming. You are that anointed energy. You're really becoming Christed, if you want to use that term, or use whatever term you want. It isn't religious. It's saying that you are one with all that is. You are in that moment, that samadhi, that feeling that you disappear, and all that is all that is. But this is the energy where you go out and you drive in your car, if you did, like I did, and I'm seeing people on the street, and I'm seeing myself in them. I'm seeing them. I know what's in their lunch pail. I know what they're going to do, and I have such compassion and love for them. And this lasted like 3 days. It's that feeling of at one. They call it at one mint. At one mint. It's the same thing. That's what my guides are calling it. And where you are, you dissolve into the infinite. You dissolve into the infinite, and it happened for you, and for me, it happened last year as well.
Oh my God.
This is what is happening for everyone. Actually, this same thing. It's being. And it happens in some stages for some reason. And so what we experienced was like a beginning of it continuing forward. And so congratulations.
Well, it also depends, like you said, on temperament. Like, if you're a bhakti yogi, like you just love to worship and sing and just love, it would become a little different for you. If you're a yana yoga, where it's knowledge, it would be a little different there. So it just depends on your temperament. Temperament is a spiritual aspirant, how it hits you. So but it was different. Like, and it really gave us the courage to move through the situation that we were in, because I was able to see everything that was about to happen, and I went, okay, we're going to go do this, we're going to go do that. And
what happens when you're in that state and you have that at one minute, you move from your soul, period. So you will do things like what you did, because you're moving from your soul. You really don't have to think. It doesn't go up to the logical mind. You're using your heart brain. You're moving from your soul. That's all I can say. And you will do things with complete trust that you don't have to be brave. You don't have to be anything. It's the soul is calling you to do X, Y, Z, and you will do it. It's like, so,
And it's because you see the reality of oneness, that it's
yeah,
like, what am I fearing? What?
is that exactly. You are in that at 1 minute. So there isn't anything. There's
Nope.
just the calling and you do it. The calling and you do it.
Yeah.
You move from the soul. You move from that energy, from that divine source energy, that whole, all that is. So I love that you had that experience too. And I've had so many people tell me about it. My guides told me this was going to start happening for people before before it happened for me. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're
Because
welcome.
you guys, Samadhi, being in Samadhi, oh man.
And
It
if you
is
do the
like,
spiritual lifestyle, like Val and I do, and you have that discipline, you're
yes,
much more open to the energies.
yes,
So, and especially if you have past births where you did a lot of spiritual work as too.
yeah,
So it builds on it, on those
yeah,
things.
it does. It does. So yeah, I have to say. Um, so everyone, uh, here we are at 50 minutes. This has been a beautiful conversation with Michelle. And, is there anything you want to pull cards for the community and leave them with a thought, or, you have any last thoughts for everyone?
Well, like I said, we're going to be undergoing a big transformation. If you guys want to watch my videos, I made a lot of deep dives into the coming transits and things like that. So
Oh, good.
I won't go into that now, but just
Okay.
know that don't fear as you see some of these coming, because what they're intending to do is raise your vibe.
Yeah.
And I got the Empress.
Ooh.
So this is all about self-care. And this reminds me, Mr. OD actually did a spread. Let me grab it. I
Okay.
actually did it last night, and it was about self-care. And I
Yeah.
actually pulled the Empress for this.
Oh,
And so this is something you guys can do at home if you want to just do if you have tarot cards or oracle
yeah.
cards to work with this. The first thing that you can do, and this is called a self-care spread, is what does my body need? And then pull a card for that. And I got the Empress for me. It's like I need to pamper myself a little more because like do, be.
Yeah.
And then and they said, no, you're gonna sleep until 7 tomorrow. And I'm like, can I even do that? And I did. I was like, oh my gosh, I was able to sleep until 7 a.m. It was like, wow. So okay, I guess I was tired. So I did that. Okay. What does my heart need is the second one. So the first card is what does my body need? The second card is what does my heart need? The third card is what does my mind need? The fifth card, so you go, what does my body need? What does my heart need? What does my mind need? And what does my spirit need? And then you end with what does my divine nature need? So that's something that you guys can do to really work on that self-care and really do some introspection during this time, because you're going to need to start really paying attention to those needs, because there are the Kali Yuga kings that are going to try to put their wants before your needs. And the way you take that power back is you go in, you ask your guides, you ask your higher self what needs to be done, and you start taking action with that beautiful courage card that I know that Val pulled, that strength, that courage. After you go into surrender, you surrender to what is, and then you start taking action based on what you're seeing and what's best for you. And beautiful power.
Wow, that's powerful. That
Yeah.
sounds wonderful. And I got for all of us I say Hather. I don't care if you say Hawther. It's Hather light codes, which I found out is also a Sekhmet. I didn't even realize that, but I am a big Hather fan. Light immersion, full system upgrade, power recall. So this energy is coming in. We're getting assistance from that energy, and also chamber of the violet flame. This is karmic release, radical transformation energy coming in for all of us. And I think this is really in service of us realizing that we really are going through a transcendence. This is really about transcending, and we're rising up in frequency, and everything that is happening for that reason. And I know things can happen in 3D land where we're all like, whoa, taken aback by something that happens in our lives. But at the same time, if you just pull out of that perspective and go up with the higher perspective, you can see that there's always something great you're gaining out of that experience. And it's not just lip service. You will find that beautiful golden rainbow in the middle of it all that you're going to be thankful that it happened, whatever is coming along, that we all have to go through. We go through these cycles of things. So I just want to thank you all for joining us. And thank you, Michelle Marie, for being with us. Astrological Tarot, astrologicaltarot.com. Book a session. Like and subscribe to Astrological Tarot YouTube channel. You are not going to believe the information Michelle has on her channel, in her brain, that she accesses. You're like, whoa. It's like you need to study it for 2 years after you get a reading, because there's so much information.
It's not my knowledge. I'm just able to pick it up and say, look.
It's just beautiful. It really is. So, and don't forget, like and subscribe. Marina's Heart Center Tarot.com is where you can book a session with Marina, or you can also sign up for one of her classes, and also like and subscribe to Marina's Heart Center Tarot YouTube channel. So thank you all for being with us, and we'll see you next time. And next time it's going to be on my channel, Dragonfly Crystals. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Dragonfly Crystals. Those are my ads for today. So thank you all for being with us. And we really appreciate your energy. And we'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Om Shanti, Om Love.